Time for another edition of Todd's Odds with our sports betting analyst and good friend Todd Fuhrman. Todd, great to see you. The Four Nations Faceoff rosters have been set. I don't need to tell you that. In the United States, it's probably front page news. However, I should mention that Canada is still a slight favorite over the United States, according to FanDuel, for the tournament. Who would you be betting on, and why is it Finland?
You know, let me tell you, Jay, if you open the front page of the New York Times sports section or the LA Times or even the Las Vegas Review-Journal, there is no doubt that the front page story was Tage Thompson not making Team USA's roster. So I don't have to tell you twice to know how important hockey is for all of us down here in the States. But no, I am not making a case for Team Finland as a long shot to win the Four Nations Faceoff. However, I am staying in Scandinavia. And I think Sweden offers all sorts of opportunity and upside when you look at the way they're being priced in the market. Team USA and Team Canada, overwhelming favorites. But these tournaments where you're talking about playing 3 games in a group stage and essentially a championship format, it's all about coming together quickly. And I think sometimes when you can take on that underdog mentality and the roster's constructed accordingly, that I want to take a shot with teams that have performed well in these events in the past. So Team Sweden for me is going to be the price. And I actually think their goaltending is flying under the radar, especially if Philip Gustafsson maintains his current form against the Nod. The biggest question that I have, Jay, we know Minka Zibanejad was named to the roster early. Will he be in charge of handling the team DJ operations in the locker room throughout the tournament, or will he lose that responsibility should they drop their opener?
With the Swedes, it's either Scandinavian death metal or the Swedish House Mafia. There's no in between, Todd. You know that. You're in Vegas, National Football League. Josh Allen, overwhelming favorite for MVP. Saquon Barkley, the second best odds, according to FanDuel. But here's another thing FanDuel has going. Saquon, 3-1 odds to break the all-time rushing record held by Eric Dickerson, 2,105 yards. Are either of those bets, Saquon for MVP or Saquon to break the all-time rushing record held by Dickerson since 1984, do either of those bets intrigue you, Todd Fuhrman?
No and no, Jay. I will not be betting Saquon Barkley in either of those particular markets. Look, what he's doing for the Philadelphia Eagles is tremendous. He has been a key cog amidst their resurgence. That ground game is as dynamic as any in the league right now. But a running back, in my opinion, even one as talented as Saquon Barkley, should not supplant a quarterback and what Josh Allen is doing in Western New York. And if I was looking for someone to come from off the pace, I'm not ruling out Lamar Jackson. Even with that lackluster performance against the Eagles defense, at a number in the double-digit range, I mean, this is a guy that can get white hot, especially if the Ravens were to come back and end up winning that division. As far as replacing Eric Dickerson for the single-season rushing record, there are better ways to attack this market, and it's all about the numbers. 3-1, just way too short a price tag for him to do so.
Okay, Todd, right now, the teams that sit outside of the playoffs in the NFC seem most likely to make the playoffs simply by winning their division. I'm talking about the Bucs in the South. I'm talking about in the West, the Cardinals and the Rams. They're all in the hunt. Making and winning the division is probably their best chance to get into the postseason. Do you think any of those teams actually do get into the postseason?
You know, you mentioned the NFC South, and it's been wild to watch how those odds have adjusted. Coming out of their bye week at 4-6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were as much as 4-1 to win the division. Amidst their 2-game winning streak and the Atlanta Falcons dropping now 3 games in a row, you're looking at a number much closer to pick 'em. And I think Tampa is actually the team to beat in the NFC South. So I would have no problem looking to try and make a slight case to back them, although I am a little bit concerned about that lower body injury that Baker Mayfield is dealing with. As far as the other 2 teams, I mean, we've talked at great lengths about the parity that we've seen in the NFC West. And I'm just not a believer in the Arizona Cardinals. I think if you're trying to make a case for one of those 2 teams, I'd be much more inclined to back the Rams because it was only a season ago where they were 6-6 after 12 games, finished the regular season 10-7, and nearly upset the Detroit Lions in the first round of the playoffs. So this is a Rams team that typically plays its best football late. And don't look now, but that offensive line starting to get healthy in front of Matthew Stafford, contributing to some big games for Kyren Williams in the backfield.
You know what, Todd? They say print media is dying, but as far as I'm concerned, you'll always be front page news on this show. You do a great job every week. Thanks for this.
I appreciate that, Jay.